Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome back to Dragon Ball Super Reviews. Today we will be doing the review of the episode 23. This episode is titled The Earth and Gohan in Dire Peril. Come quick, Son Goku. In this episode, man, there's... like I said, Resurrection F is like dating a very complicated girlfriend. It's just... At one moment, she could be hella cool, and then the next moment she just ah. And that's what this entire saga is like. This entire saga is like really. There's some points where it's cool, and some parts where it's just like, really? And this was one of those episodes. Let's just get started with the plot summary. I'm going to go through the plot summary, and I'm not going to be slow about it because a lot didn't really happen in this episode because it got covered in mostly talking, which kind of disappoints me. So, what ended up happening after Piccolo sacrificed himself, Bulma was like, oh crap, we need to call Whis. And the main issue that was happening on Beerus' planet was that Beerus wanted more pizza. But Whis can't provide more pizza because he needs his staff in order to keep Goku, and Vegeta into the hyperbolic time dimension. So then Beerus is like, get him out of there then so we can get more pizza. Whis does that. And then when Whis gets Goku and Vegeta out of there, it turns out his staff also serves as like a containment unit for stuff. Goku and Vegeta found the pizza. They needed the pizza because they've been training for several days and they needed something to eat. So, what do you think they ate? The pizza. So Beerus gets pissed at him, and then while that's all happening, on the battlefield, Goten, Trunks, and Bulma are still calling out to Whis. Whis ends up getting his message about the parfait, the ice cream. So Whis ends up contacting them. Goku and Vegeta learn that Piccolo's died and shit got real on Earth because Frieza's back. Goku tries to use instant transmission down on Earth. It can't reach it. Then Gohan decides to get up. And when Gohan ends up getting up, he pushes his powers to the limit, or at least his limit. He pushes his powers to its limits so that Goku can sense the power from there. Instant transmissions himself and Vegeta down to Earth. Once he instant transmissions himself and Vegeta down to Earth, they see them. Frieza's army is about to go fight Goku, but then Tagoma / Ginyu / Tagoma goes in and is like ready to fight him because they don't want Frieza to dirty his hands with Goku, even though Goku's more than capable. And I'm sure Frieza would want to kill Goku himself. Anyway, Vegeta steps up and they learn that this is Ginyu. And Goku's like, oh crap, that was Ginyu from a long time ago? Vegeta comes up, he ends up killing Ginyu. So with that said, now I did like this part because I stopped and thought about it. Vegeta has officially killed every member of the Ginyu Force after this episode. He was gonna kill Ginyu before, but Goku stopped him because when he was a frog, because there was nothing he could, he was no threat to anybody. But after this episode, you can look on the records and keep in mind that Vegeta has officially killed Goldo. He killed Raccoon. When he blasted Raccoon, Goku beat Raccoon, but Vegeta killed Raccoon. He beat Berter, but Vegeta's the one that killed Berter. He killed Jace during the fight with Ginyu. He's officially killed Ginyu. Thus, Vegeta's track record means that he's killed all the members of the Ginyu Force, all 5 of them. So that was really cool. I really liked that moment because it was a very pinnacle moment in Vegeta, and it's good to see him kill somebody again. I don't know, Vegeta's just not killed anyone recently. So yeah, boom, all Ginyu Force gone thanks to Vegeta. It ended kind of quickly and anticlimactically, but regardless, boom. Because of that, Goku uses this as the excuse for why Goku can fight Frieza while Vegeta just stays behind, which is a pathetic-ass way to justify that, but hey, it's better than what Resurrection F had, nothing. And the fight's about to begin, Goku powers up, and Frieza ends up transforming into his final form, but by doing so, Goku tells everybody else to take cover, and they do. Frieza doesn't tell his soldiers to take cover, so they end up getting killed in the crossfire of Frieza powering up. And then the fight is about to begin, and the episode is basically over after that. Oh, boy. Okay, so, one thing I did like, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this already. One thing I like, a lot of people don't like. I liked Gohan's little power up and wear his body out. Although his face after powering up looks ghastly as hell. God, he looks so scary. But regardless, I do like the fact that Gohan's powered up to like he powered up so much and it got Goku's attention so that he can tell instant transmission to Earth. Now, a lot of people have been saying that this is a controversial scene because how can Goku not sense Frieza's energy but sense Gohan's? I've come up with an obvious answer for that, and the answer is this: the power, every character in Dragon Ball, or just characters in general, they raise and lower their powers according to what's happening at the time. Frieza didn't heighten his power. The only time you could really see that Frieza's power probably got heightened was when he kept using death beams on Gohan, and even then, I'm sure he didn't have to raise it to substantial features. Just like in an instant, he shot Gohan, and his power went up, then went down. For the most part, and Frieza was sitting in his chair and he wasn't really doing much. He wasn't fighting, he wasn't active. So he was sitting in his chair, which means he didn't have to raise his power level at all for real. It's kind of like when you need muscle. If you're not on guard or you're not using your muscle for anything, you're just sort of chill, then you won't feel the strain of that. And that's what was happening. Frieza wasn't utilizing his power at all. He was just sort of sitting there chilling, watching all of this, watching this whole suffering deal. And he didn't have to raise his power level. Gohan, however, raised his power level to the max. So it was the equivalent of Gohan shining this giant flashlight neon sign going, here I am, here I am, here I am. And then Goku was able to follow that. So that was a great scene, simply to me, because while Gohan, I don't really see much of what they could have done with Gohan. Gohan proved that he can defeat Ginyu really fast if he like just hurried up and beat him, but Frieza sort of stopped him to that. But Gohan proved that he could be strong, but he's not going to be Frieza strong, at least not at this level. Gohan's proven that he's strong enough to at least do something in this. Although I do know that a lot of people are probably going to miss how strong Gohan was in Majin Buu Saga, although he was so strong but for a short amount of time and he didn't really utilize that strength much. I do like the callback, however, though, that Gohan states. He's like, well, if I had trained a bit more, then none of this would have happened. Piccolo wouldn't have died. If I had trained a bit more and kept up with my training, we wouldn't be in this situation. So I do like that Gohan's falling back on that. Hopefully that'll make a difference in the Universe 6 or 7 saga. I think it's Universe 6? Yeah. Hopefully that'll make a difference in the Universe 6 saga when that comes out. It's just, I like the fact that Gohan stopped and thought about the consequences due to his lack of power. So maybe he can balance the two out and become a father, a scholar, and a fighter, or somewhat a fighter. Because that's one thing about Gohan. I know this episode review is very Gohan heavy, but that's who it was focused on for a while. I've always viewed Gohan as a protector fighter, not a fighter for sport. Goku and Vegeta fight, well, mostly Goku. Goku fights for sport. Vegeta, for the most part, has been fighting for survival, but now he's fighting for sport as well. Goku, for the most part, has been fighting for sport. Saving the world just happens to be the second thing that he does because villains want to kill him. But for the most part, Gohan fought because he had no choice but to, and if he didn't, then people were gonna die. So I do like the theme that Gohan's been carrying from Dragon Ball Z all the way up to now. Gohan's a protector fighter. He doesn't fight because he wants to. He fights because he has to. And I believe that Gohan would still fit as the role of a powerful fighter if the motif of protect stays with him throughout this series. Anyway, other than that, like I said, Vegeta killing Ginyu / Tagoma was pretty cool. But I'm guessing Tagoma is going to take the place of being the frog that wanders around the DBZ world. So I think that's pretty funny. Other than that, the episode sort of ends on a fast note. Like that's kind of how the episode just sort of ends. is Goku about to fight Frieza. Now, Frieza killing off all the rest of those soldiers, because I'm pissed. I was like, oh, there's a whole bunch of soldiers left. What's going to happen? They're like, who's going to take on those soldiers? Maybe Goten, Jocko, and Trunks could take them. Goku's like, no, Goten and Trunks go to Dende's. And I'm like, really? That's dumb. And then Frieza kills the rest of his soldiers. Now, I know what you're thinking. He killed all of his soldiers in the movie. The difference was, though, was that he killed them because all of Frieza's soldiers were unable to fight. They all had been beaten. They all had been beaten up. They all were incapacitated. Frieza deemed them all as worthless, so he killed them. It was an evil thing to do. It was a very sadistic, evil thing to do. In this one, he just didn't tell them to move out of the way, so they ended up blowing up in the crossfire. And that's very disappointing to me. I don't like that. I don't like that that's the reason they died. That's kind of stupid. But regardless, the rest of the soldiers are gone, so we don't even have to worry about that. That means we don't even get any scenes of Jocko fighting, to be perfectly honest, except that one soldier. So, yeah, like I said, this episode hit me back and forth with a lot of things, but regardless, it was still an okay episode. This episode's main job was to build up for the next episode, which is the one where Goku and Frieza fight. And from what we see from the previews, Goku's going to transform into Super Saiyan Blue in the fight, which means the fight between Final Form Frieza and Normal State Goku isn't going to be that long, which kind of sucks. But who knows? Maybe they'll drag it out. The next episode is titled Charge Frieza vs. Goku. This is the fruits of my training. So with that said, I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out.